and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Got it.
Perfect. And I'll just let you go ahead and introduce yourself, kind of what you do, and then get started on your presentation.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for being on today. My name is Jessica Eskew. I am the market director for Arizona. Basically, I work for AFLAC, and I know Sarah Beth through working with her dad when he used to work with AFLAC. So I've been a longtime friend of the family. But basically, I lead a team here in Arizona of sales professionals and marketing professionals. And one of the things that Sarah Beth wanted to bring to you guys today, or one of the things that I think you guys were talking about, was talking about LinkedIn. And that's definitely been a passion project of mine, is helping our team level up and professionalize their LinkedIn profile as they're looking for opportunities, as they're trying to connect with business owners. And so I'm excited to walk you guys through what I've learned from LinkedIn and help you guys pimp your profile. So let me go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. And let's see. Here we go. All right. Now let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you again for letting me be on your call. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Sarah Beth, we have what, 30 minutes? Is that about what you want? Okay. I'll try not to be long-winded.
Yeah, that's all right.
Really fast, but if you guys have questions, just hop in, ask, feel free to interrupt me, or we can do a Q&A kind of briefly as we go through it. But I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of building your professional brand through LinkedIn. So you want to think of LinkedIn as your resume that never sleeps. I had my daughter ask me the other day, she goes, "Isn't LinkedIn like Facebook for old people?" And I'm like, no, it's not Facebook for old people. And also she told me Facebook was for old people, which I found very offensive. But she lives her life on Snapchat and Instagram. She doesn't even have Facebook. So, and she's only 12. So I've been put in my place for sure. But basically, LinkedIn is your professional brand to the rest of the world. So this having a good profile or a good brand on LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to have the result that you want to show up when someone Googles you, and they absolutely will Google you when you apply for an internship or you apply for an opportunity. First thing they're going to do is Google you and look you up and find your presence on whatever social media you have out there. So how many of you actually have a LinkedIn page? Does everybody on the call have one? Okay. That's good. How many of you actually check it daily? Okay, yeah, I know I'm kind of hot and cold with it. I either am checking it every day or I don't check it for a month. So I'm either on or off with it. So one of the things is that it's a fantastic opportunity to grow your network and position yourself. But unfortunately, many of us, like I just said, don't use it the way it should be used or could be used. So it is the place to be professionally, to be found and to find your future opportunities. Has over 1.5 million student and student jobs and internships. So as you guys are looking at transitioning into the workforce and transitioning into the summer and looking for opportunities, this is the place to be, and this is the place that you'll find opportunities. 9 out of 10 companies use LinkedIn to recruit new hires. So if you are not on LinkedIn or you're not using it, you simply just don't exist in the working world. Okay? All right, so most of you on the call, I assume, are Generation Z. A lot of workforces right now are really putting their focus on millennials, but Gen Z has actually been a game changer for the corporate world, because you all have basically been connected since birth, right? If I give you an Android or if I give you an Apple, you guys could figure out how to use it in 2 seconds flat. And this baby could figure out how to use it better than a boomer, because you guys have been connected and on the internet and a high social media presence from the very beginning. So you guys are thought of as being comfortable with technology and interacting on social media. And most of the news that Gen Z gets, 80% of it is actually from video. So most of the content you consume and most of the information you receive is video style. So it's just an interesting statistic. So why does it matter? 70% of 18 to 34-year-olds report having found their job through social media. 90% of candidates are likely to apply for a job when it's from an employer that actively maintains their brand online. And 59% of all recruiters rated candidates sourced from social media as the highest quality. And another fun fact is that 8 out of 10 people admit to looking up their future boss or their future co-workers while considering a new job. You know, you've done it. I've done it. We've all done it, right? So it's important to consider, what are people seeing when they look you up? You want a profile that stands out not only to recruiters, but to grad schools and to internship opportunities. And this is your opportunity to build your personal brand online. And when you think of your personal brand, that's just another fancy way of saying, you know, your reputation. But what are people seeing, you know, when they look at you? So I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples. If you have a LinkedIn page and you want to kind of be updating your profile as we talk, that's perfectly fine. I encourage you to do that, because some of these things, and Sarah Beth, I have updated the slide deck so I can send it to you after this presentation, because I've added a little bit more than I initially sent you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So looking at, these are 2 different LinkedIn profiles. Just looking at these 2, who do you think is more appealing, Kelly or Rachel? Rachel, she's got a great profile picture. It looks like she has fun and she enjoys her career and she loves her life. She's got a lot to say. If you look at Kelly, the challenge is Kelly could be a fantastic candidate. She could be, you know, top of her class, but whenever someone looks her up, they won't be able to see that just from looking at her profile. So you want a profile that is rich in media and rich in content that really helps you stand out to your recruiters and to people that are, you know, internships and things like that you're seeking. A little hint, before you start to make a bunch of edits to your LinkedIn page, go ahead and switch off the notifications to notify your network about your profile changes. It's on the right-hand side of your screen. Otherwise, every time you put an update, you add a picture or you update your summary or you add a job experience, everyone in your network gets notified. And so if you're going to change 15 things on your page, you don't want, you know, 200 people getting notifications. Oh, Sarah Beth added experience. Sarah Beth added a picture. Sarah Beth added an article. So make sure you switch that notification to off before you start making changes. All right, so I'm going to get into the bulk of what makes LinkedIn, you know, a LinkedIn profile really successful. So the first section and the most important section is section 1, your photo and your headline. You want to make sure that you add a professional headshot. So these are just screenshots of my LinkedIn that I added on here. You want to make sure you have a professional headshot of only you, not you and your friends or you and your parents. This is just a picture of you in professional attire, not in a tube top on the beach. That's more for Instagram or Facebook, but LinkedIn you want to as professional setting with ultimately a plain background if possible. Using your full name and no nicknames or abbreviation, and then creating a punchy headline. So it doesn't have to necessarily be your job description, but this is an opportunity for you to have a short, memorable, professional slogans. It's the one thing that you want your recruiter or hiring manager or future coworker to know about you. So tell them what you're excited about now, and if you can say it succinctly, or the great stuff you want to be in the future, or you want to do in the future. For example, in your case, maybe something like an honors student seeking a marketing position, or engineer building game-changing consumer products. So something along those lines. If you notice, my title doesn't say market director. So if you want to actually put your title or what job you're seeking, that would go down in your experience section. So something that's going to help you stand out, because what happens is job seekers or people that are looking for interns, they put keywords, search words to pull up different profiles. So you want to put something in there that's going to get you seen. And if you need an idea of what to put in there as your headline, a good hint is to go to the alumni tool, and you can look up recent graduates of, you know, in your school or in your degree, and you can see what headlines they have if you need some ideas. Okay? Any questions about that? One thing I want to tell you about your photo too is the reason it's important is that profiles with an actual photo get 14 times the amount of views as profiles that don't have a picture. So some job seekers or job seekers or hiring managers will actually use that as a way to filter out profiles that they don't want to look at. So one of the filter options is profiles without a photo. I don't even want to see them. So that could keep you, if you don't have a photo, that could keep you from being able to even connect or keep you from getting the job you want even before you're able to have the conversation. One hint I want to give you is to avoid other, like in your headline, avoid cliche titles like Code Ninja or SEO Guru. Don't be a nerd. The other thing is you want to claim your custom URL. So if you see down here on the second screenshot, I have kind of highlighted where you can edit, because LinkedIn actually assigns you a URL and it'll be something like QRX423. That's not something that's easy for you to put on a resume or at the bottom of a signature line. So you can actually go in there and edit it and put your name or something like that, so it's unique to you and that it's something that you'll remember. Okay. Did I go forward? So I went forward and back. Another good thing for you to do, especially right now as you're looking for opportunities, is there's a link right underneath your profile picture where it says show recruiters that you're open to job opportunities. If you click on that, it pulls up a pop-up box that gives you a couple of options. You can tell them what kind of work you're open to, job titles that you'd be interested in, locations that you'd be interested in, and then also you can filter out job types. So full-time, part-time, internship, volunteer, temporary, remote. So make sure that if you are actively seeking, you fill that section out, because when someone pulls up your profile, it'll automatically say seeking opportunities. Okay, and that's obviously important for a lot of reasons. Hold on, I'm having a slideshow issue. All right, the next part is my favorite part of the whole LinkedIn profile. This is the summary section. You want a summary packed with passion. A lot of people just put bullet points here about, what they want to do or whatever, or who they are. Use this as an opportunity. Out of all the elements in your profile, your summary is the most important one, assuming that you have a good photo and you have a good headline. A lot of people leave this area blank because they don't know what to say, or they just list their experiences. But that would be kind of like trying to build a website without a home page. So the summary receives the most prominent position on the page, and it's the ultimate place for you to tell your story. So it helps you stand out, and it kind of adds color to who you are as an individual, your experiences and your aspirations. So you want to think of the summary like the first few paragraphs of the best cover letter to any job that you are seeking. You want to be concise about your experience, your qualifications, and your goals. And if you can, with a compelling narrative, tell your story. But obviously, you can't be 6 paragraphs long. You want it to be succinct and talk about what you enjoy, what you're passionate about, what experience you have. Avoid using the third person. Jessica likes to go hiking. Don't do things like that. Talk about yourself like I or me in the first person. This is a great opportunity too for you to use rich media, photos of things that you've accomplished or who you are. If you remember back in Rachel's profile, she had a picture of, work-life balance and her kind of playing. She had a picture of herself and her sister with the duck. This is a great opportunity for you to put some photos here about what you're passionate about. Another thing that you can put here, especially if you're in marketing or if you're in like graphic design, examples of some of the work that you've generated. So I'll talk about that in our next section too, but you can also hyperlink, projects that you've been involved in so that people can actually look on your profile and get an example of the type of work that you're able to produce. Does that make sense? Okay. Section 3 is your experience. And this is where you want to summarize your work history, your key contributions and your skill set. Don't skip over volunteer experience. So this is your actual resume. So you want to list the jobs that you've held with a brief description of what you were responsible for, what you were able to accomplish. And also, if you've had more than one position in a company, don't be afraid to list out all the positions, because that shows that you've been able to progress and take on more responsibility. Obviously, as you get older and you have more work experience, that'll be less important. But right now, as you're building your resume and you're building, your reputation and trying to promote what you're capable of, it's important to show your ability to progress within an opportunity. So if you see down here below, I've kind of just took a picture and I took a snapshot of when you go to update this section, it'll say you can add media, you can add a document, you can add a photo, you can link to a video, if you have maybe a video of your sorority or something, like you guys doing something with philanthropy, a presentation that you've done, anything like that, a video that you've put together. But anything that kind of exemplifies your work or the projects or what you're able to accomplish. So I think that's a really awesome thing for you to add. And also don't skip out on your volunteer experience. So you want to think broadly about what you've experienced over your life. 41% of LinkedIn recruiters say that they consider volunteer experience on par with full-time paid work experience. And 20% of hiring managers in the US say that they've hired someone because of their volunteer experience. So it's a good profile addition because it tells people something unique about who you are, what you're interested in, and it reveals, your passions. And I think it kind of helps you stand out as a human being and not just a name on a screen. Okay. So any questions about experience? Nope. Okay. Honors and awards. This is a great place for you to brag about yourself. LinkedIn is not a place for you to be modest or shy. You want to list all of the honors and awards that you've received throughout your college career, even in high school at this point, whether it's sports related, whether it's, part of being, Key Club or anything like that you've been a part of. I think it's important to list here. Again, just showing you as an all around, well-rounded individual. It shows that you have other interests. It shows, what you're able to do with your God-given talents. So this is an important section. So feel free to elaborate and brag on yourself here. Okay. Skills and expertise. This is another area for you to list at least 10 core skills, things that you're good at. When you're editing this section, make sure that you select, yes, I want to be endorsed. This is one of the agreements within LinkedIn. It's one of these things that kind of goes without saying. When you put that you're good at something, LinkedIn automatically gives your network an opportunity to endorse you for that skill set. So you can list anything that you think you're good at. So if you notice on mine, I have listed I'm also good at awesomeness. So awesomeness is on my list of things that I'm good at. 3 people agreed. So, hey, it's not 0. So I'm going to call that a win. But you can decide, list at least 10. And when people endorse you, the courtesy is to endorse them back for something that they're good at, that you believe that they're good at. Now, don't lie and say they're good at something that they're not, but if they've listed something and you agree, then go ahead and endorse them back. So make sure, again, you want to list at least 10 and endorse others, return the favor. This gives you a good snapshot it gives people a good snapshot of your brand, your professional brand. And also you want to prioritize prioritize in the order of your skills. Okay. All right, education and recommendation. This is another really good opportunity for you to expand on your degree. You have the opportunity to connect with old classmates. In this section, you can also ask for recommendations, and you can give recommendations, recommending your colleagues as well. So expand on your education, talk about your degrees, other programs that you've been involved in outside of your degree. If you see here, this gentleman, Eamon Byrne, said, Lindsay was incredibly professional in dealing with me throughout the entire recruitment process. Your recommendation, you can ask for somebody to recommend you, and it can be robust, or it can be very simple, like, hey, she's a great student, she's a hard worker, she's very thorough, whatever the case may be. People, again, kind of like with the endorsement, people expect you to ask for recommendations, and it's not seen as, it's not a burden. People are expecting it. So don't be afraid to reach out. And good people to ask recommendations for would be teachers, maybe a youth pastor, someone who knows you well and who has grown up with you, or has a good experience with your work ethic or your ability or your talent, someone maybe that you've babysat for years, anything like that would be great to request recommendations from. Okay, section 7 is insights. So this is where you want to join groups to build your network. You want to follow companies that interest you. You can stay up to date with your industry. This is a great way to kind of round out what you're interested in. So this also will deliver content into your feed that you can then share with your network. All right, so picking things that, if it's leadership, or if it's women in leadership, or if it's, you can follow influencers. Like I follow Tony Robbins and I follow Richard Branson and those types of people that always, can pour in some positive insight into my feed that I can then share with my team or share with other people. So again, when you go into this section, there will be thousands and thousands of groups and influencers for you to choose from. So just start making a mental list of people, that you find either on, Instagram or whatever that you currently follow, and you can follow them on LinkedIn as well to get professional content. All right, now let's talk about actually growing your network. It's not the size of your network, but how you use it. So the more first degrees, the whole point of LinkedIn is not really your first degree, it's your second degree connections, right? We all know who we know, and most of the people we know, we could call them up on the phone and have a conversation. But what LinkedIn allows you to do is really leverage those relationships for who they know and how they can help you in the future. So the more first degree connections you have increases the number of second degree connections you have access to, and potential nominations, potential recruits, potential job opportunities, and clients that you've done business with, as well as those you hope to do business with in the future. And here's something to think of. 80% of job openings are never advertised. And so the reason those second degree connections matter is because if your first degree connections know you're looking for a job, or you see that they have a second degree connection at a place where you'd like an internship or you'd like to work, you can ask for the introduction and possibly have the conversation before they ever have to post that job on, on a job site. Does that make sense? So as you're building your network, you want to probably think of a couple rules. You don't have to add everyone that sends you an invitation, because there will be a ton. Once you start and you open your profile, there's constantly people that are trying to do business with you and using LinkedIn to grow their business as well. So come up with a couple of rules. One of my rules is I don't connect with anyone who doesn't have a photo, because I think it's creepy. So, just put a couple of rules in place for who you're going to say yes to, so that way your profile doesn't become cluttered. So how do you increase your odds of finding out about these job opportunities that we're talking about? And that is actually through who you know, and it's based on pure numbers. So remember, I think one of you was just talking about econ. So remember the concept of the network effect in econ. That's the power of LinkedIn. So you don't maximize the value unless you're building out a network that can actually go to work for you when the time is right. So whether it's looking for a job, or getting connected with someone who may be able to help you down the road, or seeing interesting content that can maximize your value or make you a better professional from someone in the field. So early on, quality over quantity is the right idea for building your network. You want to start with your classmates, your professors, teaching assistants, family, friends, work colleagues, past and present. Like I was saying, anybody that you've had an experience with that can kind of vouch for who you are as a human being. And then over time, you can broaden those connections to include a larger set of friends and family, coworkers, and people that maybe you meet at conferences. Once you get over 50 connections, ideally, from different circles as opposed to overlapping circles, then you really start to put that network effect into play. If you are going to try to connect with someone that you don't know personally, so maybe you see that one of your first degree connections is connected to someone you want to connect with, it's always a good idea to send them a message with the connection request saying, hey, I see that we have a mutual connection, so-and-so, he's my pastor or he's my professor, I love what your company's doing, I'd love to connect, but just sending a personal message, because again, they're going to get tons of messages from people they don't know, and it's really easy on LinkedIn to just ignore that message ignore the connection request unless it has a message as to why I should connect with you. Okay? Questions about that? All right, we kind of already talked about groups, but groups help you further your professional brand by showcasing your interests and your passions on your profile. Joining and participating in groups increases your visibility, and again, increases content that you can share with people with similar interests. Okay, so this is a great way to kind of learn the lingo of the industry that you're interested in and kind of see what topics are trending and what's happening in the industry that you're going into. A good group to add would be searching for alumni from Mercer and see what groups they follow. So that's another really good tip. And then you want to demonstrate your skills and relevance by sharing and commenting on LinkedIn. So again, remember I said, are you actively on LinkedIn? You want to be liking posts, you want to be sharing posts, you want to be commenting on things that are interesting to you, because the more you do, like when someone pulls up your profile, they'll be able to see your recent activity. Oh, Jessica liked this post, Jessica shared this, Jessica commented on this. And so people who are potentially looking at your profile can see what interests you as well. You want to make it a goal to share or comment on at least one piece a day. Okay, that's just kind of a good rule of thumb. And do as I say, not as I do, because sometimes I don't, but I'm just giving you advice. Sometimes I don't look at it for a month. And then I go on and I comment and share everything, and it's like 15 things. I'm sure I overwhelm my network. I don't think that's the way to do it. And then let's see, something else that you can do is you can also write an article. So if you have something to say, this is a great opportunity for you as well. You can actually use your LinkedIn as a little bit of a blog. So if you've got something to say and you want to put something out there, this is a great way to kind of make sure that you stand out among your network. Okay, so you can just publish an article and do whatever you want. All right, the bottom line of all of it, though, is that LinkedIn is the opportunity for you to invest in yourself and invest in the future of your business. So, you are the CEO of You Inc., and you are really, impacting what people know and think of you before they ever meet you. And I think that's the power of social media in today's world, is that your reputation and who you are walks in the door long before you ever show up for that interview, long before you ever even talk to that business owner or that potential, graduate program or that potential internship. You have the, opportunity to kind of influence what they think of you and who they know you to be before you ever walk in the door. And I think that is the power of social media, and LinkedIn is definitely the way to do it from a professional standpoint. So proficiency in social media is a different differentiator now, but it'll soon be a qualifier. So just remember that, and I will go ahead and stop sharing now and open it up for any questions that you guys have. I'm sure I gave you enough to make you dangerous, but any questions you have?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I wrote down in honors and awards of what are some things that you would say to include there. As just college students, we don't have anything professionally. Most of us don't have awards. So what, from your experience, from other college students, what would be some things that maybe we have received honors awards that we should include?
So what are some of the extracurricular, you're in a sorority, right?
I am.
So do you hold a position in your sorority?
Yeah.
So I would probably list that there.
Okay.
I would list philanthropic events that you've coordinated or that you've participated in. If you, I don't know, if you participate in a sport, you know,
Okay.
I cheered in college. I also sang in the choir, but I did. And so I had, you know, I would list that there. In high school, you know, I lettered. So I would list that. I participated in all state choir again. But those types of things, again, just to kind of give them an idea of who you are outside. And also, you can put your GPA in here. There's an opportunity for you to brag about, I mean, assuming you all ladies look smart, but assuming it's, you know, 3.3 or higher, you know, I think some of the, even test scores, you know, if you've taken some of those entrance exams, I think that's also something that's good to list as well. So don't be afraid to, again, don't be afraid to brag on yourself. And I think part of what we get challenged with when it comes to building our LinkedIn profile is we don't want to sound like we're boasting. We don't want to sound like, oh, I'm the greatest person you'll ever meet. But think of it too as this is what they're going to know of you, and they're going to read a couple of things. You never know what's going to catch someone's eye, right? They're not going to read every single bullet point or every sentence that you put, but you know, as you put things on there, you never know what's going to jump out at someone and catch their attention. So, you know, I wouldn't put like, hey, I type 95 words a minute, but you know, something along, you know, what are you proficient at? What skill sets have you developed? You know, and what are you proud of? You
Right.
participate in, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kinley.
So on the topic of like honors and awards, if you've gotten an award like multiple times, for example, like President's List a few semesters in a row, would you list that every time or would you only list it once?
You know, you could say something like 3-time President's List qualifier, you know, and then you may want to give a little blurb in parentheses about what that means.
Right.
You know, I think when I was a senior, I was named Who's Who among high school students, and that got me some kind of award. And I went in some book somewhere, and you know, that was on my we didn't have LinkedIn at the time. It was on my resume at the time. So, you know, charities that you're involved in, that's another good one. I know, Sarah Beth, you do a lot with charity things around Columbus, and I think, you know, those are great things to list there. What else? Feel free to connect with me if you want to. My name is Jessica, Esqueskaew. You can reach out to me, and you can kind of get an idea. You can peep my profile and see what you like, see what you don't like, and you know, just kind of look and see things that I've added. Again, I'd love to spend some time, you know, maybe I can come back for a future call, but kind of walk you through that alumni tool and how to use it. People love to connect with people from their alma mater. They do. It doesn't matter if they graduated last year or 30 years ago, they would love to connect with you. And that's also a great opportunity for you to find internship opportunities and job opportunities in the future. Because, and again, same thing with sorority. If you know, you can, if they're Chi Omega, they'll connect with you, and they will, and you know it. They're a sister, and it doesn't matter that they don't know you, that they've never met you. They want you to find a job, and they want to help you. And so, you know, you can search for, in the alumni tool, you can even search for your sorority sisters in there as well, and use those to leverage potential connections that'll benefit you.
On the topic of like marketing experience, how important would you say that graphic design experience is in the marketing field?
It depends on what area, I think, of marketing that you're going into. Like, if you're actually going to be the one marketing and building relationships, or are you going to be designing the marketing? You know, like for example, with Aflac, where I work, we have a design and a marketing team that puts out all of the commercials and all of the things that we're allowed to use in marketing. And then you have actually the people who go out and market and put those materials to use. And I'm the one, you know, if I'm on that level, I'm out, you know, utilizing that material to build relationships. So I think it just depends on, what area of marketing you're going to be focused on. If that helps at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Any other questions?
Awesome. Then we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much again for joining us today. I took like 3 pages of notes, so I'd say you gave us some really good material. So I have homework now. I got to go update my LinkedIn.
Yes, go update. I'll connect with me. I'll go follow you and give you I'll endorse you, and you have to go back and endorse me for awesomeness so that I can get that number up. But I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you ladies today. Good luck in your final semester. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Be careful. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Sarah Beth, for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.